Welcome to our hometown. I'm Jim McCallum, your host. Today we'll visit with Sheriff John Ingram, who will tell us more about ways to stay safe during the holiday season. Then we'll visit with the North Carolina Senior Tar Heel Legislature representatives. They'll bring us up to date on their activities. And finally, we'll go outside the studio to visit with Marcaroo, which is a fall festival here in Brunswick County. So stay with us as we explore more of our hometown. My guest is Sheriff John Ingram. Sheriff, welcome to our show.
Thank you.
I want to talk about holiday safety here at the Christmas season, but first I want our viewers to know the broad and deep scope of your responsibilities, all the hundreds and hundreds of people that you supervise and the agencies that you're responsible for. I suspect our viewers would be surprised to know that. Give us a little background on that.
Okay. Well, the Brunswick County Sheriff's Office, first and foremost, it's not my office, it's the people's office. They've just allowed me to be the caretaker for a short time,
Sure.
and I'm truly honored to be in that position. I had the pleasure of serving alongside of 250 plus people, closer to 300. And of course, we maintain the detention center.
Right.
And we have a 444 bed facility there. And we are also in charge of animal services, which something we took on a few years ago, and it's been a true blessing, working in partnership with the community and the various rescue groups and groups associated or involved in raising money for animal welfare. It's been a great experience. We've been able to save a lot of animals and place them in loving homes, and we look forward to improving upon that system. We are also in charge of the 911 center. With
your new building.
That's right.
Has it been dedicated?
It has not yet. We have not officially opened it. We look to have an official opening sometime after the first of the year. There's been some delays on electronic installation and things like that, but we're very excited about that. That is located where the old sheriff's office was at 80 Stamp Act Drive. Right. So we encourage the citizens to come by and see their new 911 center. Those, our telecommunicators are a great group of people. They're dedicated and very motivated, and they're the voice that you get when you call 911.
We couldn't do without them.
That's exactly right, and they are a very great group of people. I'm thankful that they have become part of the Sheriff's Office now. And
you probably supervise in one way or another more than 500 or 600 people?
Well, if you were to take into account the volunteer force that we have, which was something else I was going to bring up, it's amazing how many volunteers we have now. Well over 200 working on the Sheriff's Office side, and then we have even more than that working over on the Animal Services side. So we have a lot of moving parts going on at the Sheriff's Office. And we're a full-service law enforcement agency. Sure. We have an air unit, we have a marine patrol, and of course,
you have underwater dive teams.
We have dive team,
right.
And of course we have our SRO division, where we're responsible for the safety of the schools and the kids and teachers and the staff. We're also the deputies on the street responding to calls. We also have a traffic unit that they are working very hard to keep our roads safe and keep people who choose to drink and drive off the roadways.
Right.
And there's just so many moving parts to it, but it has been a true blessing and honor to be a part of that. And
no typical day for the Sheriff of Brunswick County, huh?
No typical day.
Okay, thank you. Let's talk about holiday safety, because it's the holiday season. We all find ourselves vulnerable occasionally in one way or another, and I hope our viewers will get a few tips that might save a few problems for those of us that are out there watching. Let's talk about safety in the home.
Well, it's just common sense things, but we take it for granted because, you know, sometimes we live in communities that we feel very safe in, and I'm glad that our citizens feel that way for the most part. But, you know, from time to time we have people that are looking to prey upon our citizens, so it's important to always lock your doors.
Right, absolutely.
And people just take that for granted. They don't think about it. Even when they're home, lock your doors, lock your windows, make sure they're secure.
Do most break-ins occur during the day while we're gone?
Most often.
Okay.
Yes, while you're away. They're looking for easy targets. And they know most people are away at work or whatever activity, especially if they're watching a neighborhood. A lot of thieves will case the neighborhoods well in advance of trying to actually break into a home. So we encourage you to lock all of your doors and windows, even the entry door from the garage.
Sure,
people
good
don't
point.
think about that a lot of times, but it's easy to get into a lot of the garage doors, and once they're in there, if the entry door into the home is not secure, then that's just even easier for them.
Let's move toward the shopping experience, because this is the time of the year when we and others are out shopping.
Well, a lot of people don't think about it. Number one, if you're traveling, you know, to shop during the day, but you're going to be there for an extended period of time, and nightfall occurs, you want to make sure that where you're parking is well lit. So keep that in mind when you're out and about, because you don't want to you don't want to be an easy target. And that's what they're looking for, an easy target. The other thing is make sure that you lock all of your valuables. Anything that gives any indication of something that may be valuable in your vehicle, make sure it is concealed. The best place is the trunk.
Sure.
If it's a small item, it could be the glove box. So make sure that is secure, and make sure that, you know, when you're shopping, think about from time to time, if you're purchasing a lot of big items, have numerous packages, take time to take them to the car and secure them in the trunk, and then go back, because that way your hands are not so full when you're coming out and you're distracted by that.
I see.
Another thing to be, you know, to make sure is don't be distracted by your cell phone. Many people are walking around with their heads in their phone.
Hadn't thought about that.
They're not paying attention to their surroundings, and they can become an easy target quickly because they're distracted. They're not paying attention. And that's the main thing. Be vigilant. And if something concerns you, call 911. Put as much distance between yourself and that suspicious activity or whatever it might be as quickly as possible, and get some help there. Don't be afraid to call 911. We encourage that here. If it concerns you, it concerns us.
But just having a sense of awareness when you're in a parking lot after hours, maybe late in the evening when it's relatively dark, is so important.
It is.
So important.
It is. And that's one of the main things. Make sure your vehicle's locked. Simple. Make sure your vehicle's locked. Make sure you don't have any valuables that are in plain sight, and make sure that's secured. And be vigilant. That's the main thing. If you do that, more than likely you will not become a victim of you know, someone looking to break into your vehicle, or someone, you know, a predator.
Okay, we travel also. This is the holiday season. We go to see children, grandchildren, in-laws. Let's talk about being safe when you're on the road.
Well, just plan the trip wisely. Make sure you allow enough time that you're not running behind and you feel rushed, and then naturally you feel the need to travel above the posted speed limit. That's going to be a problem.
Sure.
Because all law enforcement agencies are out in force during holiday season trying to help keep the roads safe. And that's all it is. It's not about issuing citations. It's about keeping our roads safe for people. We want everybody to arrive alive. It's simple. Allow enough time. Plan your route out. Also, if you're going to be out at parties or whatever it might be, and you consume alcohol, please have a designated driver.
Absolutely.
That's number one.
Absolutely.
It's a simple concept. Have a designated driver. We've lost too many lives. Needlessly, senseless loss of life from people who have made the decision to drink, consume alcohol, and then drive, get behind the wheel. And not just alcohol. I mean, if you're taking medication that impairs your ability to think, you know, all of them are labeled well. Just follow those labels.
Absolutely. And
make sure that you don't do anything that will take away from your ability to be able to operate a motor vehicle safely on the highways, and allow yourself enough time to get to your destination, and don't speed. Wear your seatbelt. You know,
Sure.
we have a lot of people that die involved in automobile accidents each year because they're simply not restrained, and they need to have
That always
their safety belt
surprises
on.
me because for me, my car doesn't go forward. It's just such a habit for me that I would feel loose and unsecured if I tried to drive without it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly the way I feel.
Yeah.
And you know, please make sure that everyone in the vehicle is seatbelted
Sure.
in.
Children
Especially
well.
our children.
Yeah.
And we see that all too often where they're not. If you have car seats, something that, you know, I like to point out, if you have car seats and you don't feel like you have installed them properly, or you want them to be checked, you can contact our office. We have people that are certified to make sure that you have your car seat
I didn't know
installed
that.
properly.
That's good.
Yes.
Excellent.
So it's a service we provide. We want to make sure, again, that everyone is safe. And if you do happen to get into a collision, we want to make sure that we increase the odds of you surviving that collision as much as possible. And the best way to do that is to be restrained in the vehicle properly.
Absolutely. Yeah. Sheriff, we really appreciate your being here with us today. It's a busy time of the year. You and your staff are in the business of saving lives, and we really appreciate everything that you and all of yours do each and every day. Again, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. My guests are Brian Flanagan and Audie Larimore. They are with the Senior Tar Heel Legislature. Gentlemen, thanks for being with us.
Thank you very much. We're very happy to be here.
You have
Thank
a
you,
great
Jim.
story to tell, and you fellows are leaders among the group. But let's first tell our viewers, what is the Senior Tar Heel Legislature, and what's the role of the organization? What does it do?
The Tar Heel Legislature,
Brian, Go ahead.
I'm sorry, the Tar Heel Legislature was created 23 years ago by the North Carolina Legislature.
Okay.
And what we do is advocate for seniors.
And we have enough of those here in Brunswick County, don't we?
We've got about 43,000 of us.
Okay, good number.
And what we do, we are the Brunswick County delegates, and each county, 100 counties in the state, have representatives, and we meet in Raleigh 3 times a year, where we sit down and prioritize issues that are affecting seniors throughout the state. Now, our job is to represent the coastal counties and the growth, the immense growth that we're having here. And what we do is work with our other colleagues to come up with proposals, and then we interact with the legislature to advocate for specific legislation.
And in a very real sense, when you're in Raleigh, you go knock on doors at the legislature.
Actually, we do.
Right?
We actually walk the halls, as
Right,
they say.
exactly.
And that was good.
How do you obtain information about the needs or the concerns of the citizens that you take to Raleigh?
What we do, we're out meeting with all kinds of community groups across the county to discuss, listen, and then try to work with them on what their needs are and what their priorities are, understanding we're talking about the state.
Right.
And most of our funding for seniors issues, the senior centers, transportation, Meals on Wheels, it's coming from the federal government. 85% of the funding comes from the federal government, 5% comes from the state, and 10%, but much more, comes from Brunswick County.
But in determining the needs of the seniors, you mentioned off camera that just yesterday you and Audie were speaking with the newcomers group.
That's right. We met with the newcomers over here here in Charlotte, and there were probably 100, 150 people, and they're all new to the county. And what we were doing was sensitizing them to the availability of our senior centers and what facilities and services are provided there.
Right. Audie, tell us a little bit about the meetings in Raleigh.
We go to Raleigh 3 times a year, Jim, March, June, and October, and we work on our agendas for the year. We have 5 agendas that we would like to get the legislature to look at and
Could you
possibly
mention a
pass.
few of those issues?
One of them would be the Home and Community Care Block Grant, to the funding on it, which was just added back by the budget.
Okay.
nursing home, having people checked in nursing home, the staff working their background checks done. Just an agenda, anything for seniors.
And I'll bet I'm correct in saying that as a statewide group, you fellas and ladies have a lot of clout in Raleigh.
We have 200 people, basically, 100 delegates and 100 alternates, that we beat the halls and we speak loud, and in other words, we carry a big stick.
Good. And I'm jumping around on you, fellas, but Brian, you have a new position up there. Am I right?
Actually, I was just elected as a Speaker Pro Tem for the legislature. We're just getting into it. I'm going up for an executive board meeting early next month.
Good.
And what we're trying to do is figure out, I think our sense is we're trying to establish a new way to get there. And that's the enthusiasm I have for this. And it's going to be fun. We have a great crew, and I just want to be part to help our speaker.
It's exciting, and it's great to know that Brunswick County is so well represented.
Well, thank you, sir.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
How does one contact either of you or larger individuals within the larger organization?
We will be on the website on this the video here. Have our cards and pictures of us. They are welcome to either email us or to call us. Brian and I love to get out and talk to people. Both of our priorities are seniors, because we're seniors and we have a lot of friends that are seniors. And with the aging population in Brunswick County, with the road from up north coming down through North Carolina, we have an increased population of seniors. And the senior centers are good places for people to come. And we will go talk to anybody, Jim. That's the bottom line. We'll speak to anyone.
You're very, very available.
Yes, sir.
I'm changing on you again. Can you think of an issue that our viewers may not have considered with regard to seniors, a new up-and-coming issue that we haven't talked about?
I think it's just the massive growth and the fact that we're trying to adjust to this. The Older Americans Act, which is a federal act, has not been reauthorized in almost 10 years. And they haven't adapted to the baby boomer population.
Well, in a nutshell, what does that statute require?
It's funding all the seniors programs.
Okay.
This is at 85%, but they're not growing with the increased population needs for seniors.
Right.
We're back to 1999 levels, and they have to. The Senate has passed it. We're waiting for the House to come through and pass it. Otherwise, they keep kicking the can down the road without growing. And we're going to have to grow because our population is growing.
Absolutely. Brunswick County especially.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, we really appreciate your being with us to bring us up to date, and we hope to have you back again soon. I'm here with Mary Ann Hewitt. Mary Ann, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
I went on the website. I learned of Marcus. I know that he passed away in 2011.
Yes.
And this event is dedicated to his memory.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about Marcus.
Well, Marcus was someone who was just full of life, full of energy. He loved music, and he loved this property right here. And we're set up really in his favorite spot. And you know, this was a working farm for many years, and we didn't really use this part of the property. And whenever he decided. Sorry.
You're doing fine.
He basically wanted everybody to come together and celebrate life.
Right.
And we decided to do it right here, and he was just somebody who loved people. And
Did he tell you that during his illness?
He did. He did.
Like this
he wanted everybody, he wanted the party.
Good.
And he didn't want anything formal. He didn't want us to go to some fancy schmancy event hall. He said just have it at a place where people can come together, have some music, enjoy some good food, and have a good time. And that's what we did.
The other thing I know is that this event is dedicated to cancer victims, to hospice,
Yes.
and to cancer research. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, you know, Marcus, he didn't know that he had cancer, and the symptoms of kidney cancer really are, they sneak up on you.
I see.
And So we decided that, you know, the first time we had the party, everybody just had a good time, and I called it Marcaroo because he loved music, and I named it after Bonnaroo.
Okay.
And everybody loved it so much they wanted to come back and do it again. And so we decided that if we're going to get that many folks together, let's do something for a good cause.
Yeah.
And that's how Marcaroo started. And so each year we make a decision on what is most needed at the time. And hospice and Duke Cancer Research Center was very near and dear to our heart because that's where Marcus spent a lot of his time.
I see.
And so we've, and then last year we gave it to a current survivor of breast cancer. So we just, whatever's pulling on our heart at that time.
Absolutely. Marianne, thank you for being with us, and thanks for doing what you do.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Bye now.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks.
The danger he braved and the black on his face were the marks of the man who loved him. Sirens all sounded on a winter.
We're here with Steve Varnum. I met Steve a few minutes ago. Steve is a builder of instruments, and he's got a couple with us here today. Is that right, Steve?
Yes, sir.
Tell us about these and how you got involved.
Well, I think around back to 2010, I saw a video on YouTube, a guy playing a cigar box guitar. And I thought it was really interesting, and I wanted to try my hand at it then, and I never got around to it. And, you know, and I wasn't much of a woodworker, but
You became one, though, didn't you?
yes, sir, I did. Me and a partner of mine, I came back up, and I saw him, and I met up with him, and we've gotten together and started making some guitars.
So do you work in your garage or in your...
Yeah, I do it right on my back porch,
All
or
right.
if we go over to his place, in his garage, you know, just
Now
anywhere I can.
You
really.
brought a handful of them with you today.
Yes, sir.
Now let's talk about each one. Let's talk about this one first. This is, this is a classic cigar box.
Yes, sir.
All right. Tell me a little bit more about this. It's suitable to play as an electric instrument.
Right. This is more set up like a traditional 6-string guitar would be.
All right.
It can be played. It's got the fret, so it can be played fretted, or it
Yep.
can be played with a slide. It's got electric magnetic pickup in it, you know, with the volume and tone.
So it's ready to plug in and play.
It's ready to go.
Okay. All right. How about this one over here?
Now this is more what they would have had at the very beginning. This is called a diddley bow.
And I asked you about it a few minutes ago, but I want you to tell our audience about it.
This is a diddley bow. It's one string stretched over a broomstick. You know, I've got a hose clamp here as a bridge.
Yep.
And as a nut, I'm sorry, and then I've got the, a nut back here as the bridge, so it's kind of reversed. But
and I asked you if Bo Diddley has anything to do with this, and you said
that's where he got his name. He learned how to play this, and that's where he got his name, playing the diddley bow. Back then, you know, it would have been a couple of nails driven into a 2x4,
Right.
stretched over a Coke bottle
Yeah.
or a beer bottle, and they probably would have played it in their lap, you know, like a lap steel.
Yeah, right.
That's where that came from. This is probably, this is the most traditional, probably my favorite piece I made.
I'm not sure if Bo Diddley's still alive, but that's a tribute to him.
Yes, sir.
Now you've made some others.
I have made some others, more this style. I really just started out, I've been making them for a couple of months. I'm trying to build up a nice arsenal of them.
Yeah. Do you want to sell them, or are you just interested in making them?
We sell them.
Good.
We can be contacted on Facebook at Smoky CBG.
That's just where I was going. Give us that one
Yes.
more time.
Smoky CBG on Facebook.
All right.
SMOKY CBG stands for Cigar Box Guitar.
Good. Steve Varnum, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
No problem.
I'm here with Ralph Stanley II, and it's a great thrill to be with you, Ralph.
Jim, it's a pleasure to be with you. Thanks for inviting me over to speak with you.
You fellas are about to perform, and we're glad to get just a couple of minutes of your time and talk about what you do and where you're going these days.
Well, we're real glad to be here with Mark and Marianne and Nellie at the Marcaroo Festival. And this is a really great cause, and their son passed away with cancer.
That's true.
And they started this in his honor 5 years ago, and so they've been big fans of us for a while, and we're and friends, and we're thankful to be able to come down here and help out.
That's wonderful.
And we're We'll be in Columbia, South Carolina, actually tomorrow, and
Good.
so we're kind of busy out on the road a little bit.
Our viewers won't know it, but I grew up on bluegrass music.
Yeah.
And I remember your dad so well.
Yes, sir.
He's Dr. Stanley to me.
Yeah.
Tell me how he's
Stanley.
doing.
Well, he's doing a little bit better than he was. He's had a rough 4 to 5 weeks, but he's coming out of it, and hopefully get back on the road some soon.
Well, that's good. Our prayers are
Yeah.
with him
Yeah,
every
we
single day.
appreciate that. Sure do.
Dr. Stanley is one of the greats of all times, and we appreciate him every day.
There's no way you can beat him in old time mountain bluegrass music. They just ain't nobody I've ever heard or ever will be.
Well, and we were talking just a second ago about his brother Carter.
Yes, sir. My uncle.
Many of our viewers won't know that they played together for years and years.
They played together for 20 years.
Okay.
And then
Right.
Carter, my Uncle Carter passed away,
Yeah.
which will be 49 years December the 1st.
How about that?
And Dad's been on his own ever since, and keeping the music alive, and you know, actually probably took it a little farther back, deep in the mountains, you know. And,
He did indeed.
And really done well.
Yeah. Ralph, I know that you're from the bluegrass family, but what's your first recollection of bluegrass music?
Well, was hearing, hearing the 8-tracks and LPs of the Stanley brothers and Bill Monroe and stuff like that. My dad really liked Bill, and so I started loving it at a young age. And my mother also, she'd play a lot of George Jones, you know, and I
Sure.
always loved that. And
Yep.
I always enjoyed hearing Keith Whitley
Sure, I remember.
sing
Keith.
with my dad on them old records, and then I enjoyed his country music that he cut through the 80s there. And so yeah, I was blessed to grow up hearing some pretty good bluegrass and country music, you know. Yeah.
When did you start performing?
Well, I went on stage when I was 2 years old for the first time.
Come on.
And believe it or not, I actually sang a little song, and then played probably had a banjo or something then, and
Yeah.
got up to about 5 or 6 years old and decided a guitar might be the best route to start. I felt good with the guitar, and then got up to probably 11 or 12 and kind of started getting decent on a guitar.
On
you
stage
know.
as a regular by then, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, I traveled with them all through the years, you know, but I never was real serious. I was just a kid. But when I got about 12, I started realizing, you know, I would like to sing lead for my dad. So I was blessed to do that for a long time. And I was about 15 and a half and started singing lead. And
Ralph, I know you're getting ready to perform, so I'll say thank you for being with us.
yeah, Jim, thank you.
Thank you for carrying on the great tradition of bluegrass music.
Everybody out there watching, be sure if you don't get to make it this year, I think this is an annual event.
It is.
So everybody remember to come out and support them here at Marcaroo, and don't forget about our big festival we do in Coburn, Virginia. Dr. Ralph Stanley's Hills of Home.
Ralph Stanley II, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jim.
Yes, sir. We thank you for being with us. We've had a great time presenting the show to you. We hope you'll tune in again next month on ATMC television. In the meantime, enjoy the Bluegrass Misfits as we close out our program. Thanks again. See you soon.
I believe my path is growing wearier each day. Still I got a journey on my mind. Worlds of this old world has ceased to make me want to stay. And the one regret is leaving you behind. If it proves to be His will that I am first to go, and somehow I'm feeling it will be. When it comes to time to travel, likewise don't you feel alone. I will be the first one that you see. I'll be waiting